Okay.
All right. It was for 3 o'clock. All righty here. Let's let the attendees come in. Hello, everyone. All right. How's everyone doing today? All right. Let's wait about another minute or so, then we'll get started with the introductions and the questions. Thank you, everyone, for coming. All right. All right, thank you all for coming. My name is Alex Mehregan. I'm a UC Berkeley engineer, and I am here with Miss Lessa Scherrer of College Inside Track. Lessa, please introduce yourself.
Oh. Hi, everyone. My name is Lessa Scherrer. I work for College Inside Track. I'm a college consultant. I have been working with students on their applications for, since about 2011. And helping them get into Ivies and near Ivies, as well as the college around the corner. And yeah, and I'm happy to answer your questions. I've been doing presentations on this topic all spring.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Scherrer. By the way, Miss Lessa Scherrer helped me get into the UC Berkeley College of Engineering, so she knows her stuff. And she's very, very nice to work with.
Thank you.
So, Lessa, tell us, why is utilizing this time in Corona so important for students right now?
It's really going to give you a leg up. So I was watching a webinar with the Dean of Admissions at the University of Georgia the other day, and he called this whole semester the big vacuum. They're not expecting students to have accomplished much in the course of their confinement at home. So how much better are you going to look if you've actually shown initiative and done wonderful things, both for yourself and for your fellow man, while everyone else was sitting home and watching Netflix?
I see. So you mentioned the big vacuum, correct? Can you talk a little bit more about that? What does that mean?
It means that there are, for the class of 2021, there have been no standardized testing opportunities. There have been very little in terms of extracurriculars. Most of that's been canceled. College tours are not a thing. So what colleges are telling us is that because they don't have those standard benchmarks, you don't have band, they don't have some of them don't have AP scores, they don't have ACT and SAT. They're looking more at GPA, they're looking more at academic rigor, but there's nothing you can do if your school has decided to go to pass-fail to show academic rigor. So that means they have to lean more on holistic admissions, which means they're looking at who you are as a person. They're leaning heavily on those essays. They're leaning heavily on letters of recommendation. And that extracurricular resume is what's really going to help you stand out in the applicant pool. And especially at the highly selective colleges, that's the important thing to do, is to stand out. Don't be like everybody else who's at home.
I see. Very cool. Looks like we have a question here. If you see your Q&A, Ms. Scherrer.
Yeah. Let's see, what's pass-fail? Okay, so some schools, instead of giving letter grades, they've decided, since the students are taking their classes online, that they're only going to grade them with a pass or a fail, or credit, no credit. They're not giving letter grades because it's too difficult to learn in an online environment. I hope that makes sense. So it's not pass and fail, don't go on to your GPA. So basically your GPA has stopped dead at spring of junior year, and this semester is a big one in terms of GPA. Unfortunately, some kids just don't have a GPA from this semester.
Quite unfortunate. All right, just typed out a reply there. Alrighty, cool. So what unique extracurriculars do you think students can do that will particularly impress college admissions officers?
Well, I think anything that you do will impress college admissions officers. There are things that you can do to improve yourself. You can take classes with edX, with Coursera, with OpenCourseWare. You can take masterclass, great courses, even YouTube. You can learn things on YouTube. Just be careful not to get into a spiral, a political spiral. However, if you're interested in politics, you can get involved in politics. The Postcards for Voters program, postcardsforvoters.org. I personally received 2 handwritten postcards reminding me to vote in our state primary. Those were written at home by someone who was volunteering to help get out the vote. Rock the Vote is another organization that does getting out the vote. Or if you have a political party you favor, you can contact the candidates' offices, maybe do a phone bank for them. Can't go canvassing door to door, but sending out emails, lots of opportunities there. Another thing that I think is really fun is a citizen science project. So this started out at things like SETI, looking for extraterrestrials, but there is a site called Zooniverse, like universe with Z-O-O, and they have aggregated a number of citizen science projects. So from your home, you can help with actual university research by basically doing data mining for them. So one of the projects is to count penguins. And so they have video footage and you sit there and you count the penguins in each screen of the video footage. There's another one where you can identify raccoons for the University of Wisconsin. They're studying the habits of raccoons. So you need to be able to say, oh yeah, that's Fluffy and that's Joey and that's John, and a computer can't do that, right? So they have a number of programs that are sort of space oriented. They have these science, animal science ones. There are also humanities programs. So if you speak Spanish, you can translate Cuban radio broadcasts. Lots of really interesting things that are going to catch an admissions officer's eye.
That's great. A lot of great information there. Hope you all wrote that down if you're currently in high school. Looks like we have 2 questions here, one in the chat and one in the Q&A.
Okay.
I think the chat one came first.
Let's take a look here. You mentioned essays. Should I start right now on my essay? My students are starting in June. And so yes, you can start now. It's better to get it done early, especially if you're going to go for early admissions. But you want to be able to take some time, write it out, let it sit for a while, look at it with fresh eyes. So the short answer is yes, you should start your essay now. And let's see what's in the Q&A. I'm 15, can you vote for me? I will answer this live. I would be happy to vote when you are 15. If you are running for office, I will vote for you. If I'm in California, if you're in California, I'm in Wisconsin, so sometimes I can't.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Mr. McBroom. We appreciate your question. All right. Let's keep going here. Okay. So you mentioned that colleges would say they value any extracurricular during this time, but how do you think exactly colleges will interpret extracurriculars? Will they think that students are going above and beyond? Or what's the expectation like, more specifically?
I believe they will see that students are going above and beyond. The problem is, what are you doing to go above and beyond? Are you volunteering at the local nursing home, just like 5,000 other people? Are you working for Feed My Starving Children? Doing something that's unusual is what's going to get their attention. Not just racking up volunteer hours. I often have students come to me and say, well, I have 200 volunteer hours, is that enough? And I have to ask, what have you done with those 200 hours? Is it 10 hours here and 10 hours there, or have you really gone deeply into your volunteer project and made an impact? Making an impact is what the colleges want to see, not a specific number of volunteer hours.
What are some examples of extracurriculars that are, would you say, are more desirable or more effective, at least for college applications?
Well, when I'm recommending extracurriculars, I want you to think about what you like and what you're going to spend a lot of time on. It's kind of that do what you love and the money will follow kind of an idea, but you shouldn't be volunteering at some place that doesn't speak to you personally, because then you're not engaged and you're not going to have an impact. Finding something that you really like, that you are fascinated by, you can find problems, you can solve problems for those people, that's what's going to set you apart. And that's what colleges want to see. That's leadership, and that is community service, and that is impact. And those are all the things that they're looking for in their freshman class.
Cool. All right. Looks like we have another question in the chat here.
Okay. What about doing a class at a highly selective school during the summer? This is a really good question. It depends on whether you're getting credit or not. If you're getting transferable college credit, it looks great. If you're taking an academic summer camp that happens to take place on a college campus, that's less interesting, because that's what we call a pay to play. So anybody who plunks out, you know, their $1,200 can take a class that's being held on the campus at Northwestern, for example, but it's not affiliated with Northwestern at all. If you're actually enrolled at Yale and taking summer classes at Yale, yes, that's impressive.
Okay. Looks like we have two more questions, one in the chat here and another in the Q&A.
Okay. Did you see which one came in first?
Yeah, the chat one came in first.
Chat one came in first. Okay. I see some students are starting their own initiatives, like their own nonprofits. What is your opinion? If it's a real nonprofit or a real business, that's great. If it's a club, like me and my friend had lunch together every day and we talked about this particular subject and then we called it a club for our extracurriculars, no. If you have a real nonprofit that's actually going out and doing things, if you have employees or you have a bushel of volunteers that you are supervising, yes, absolutely, that's wonderful. If it's just on paper, they can smell that, right? They're trained to look for people trying to fluff up their resumes just for college admissions. That's why 200 hours doesn't mean anything. That's why taking an academic camp on a selective college campus doesn't mean anything, because anybody can do that. You have to find the thing that only you can do.
Cool. All right, we got 3 questions here in the Q&A now.
Okay, let's see. Do you think taking an SAT prep class over this summer would be a good idea for a current sophomore rising junior? I'm going to answer that live. That is absolutely yes. Taking a prep class is a good way to use your time. SAT is going to be offered every month from August through the end of the year, trying to get all those juniors in. Having a first SAT at the beginning of the junior year is great preparation for when things heat up in the spring of the junior year. Is a summer community class in an area of interest worthwhile? Anything that's in an area of interest is going to be worthwhile, especially law, which was the example that you gave. If you've got a future lawyer on your hands, what better way for them to know that they're interested in law than to take a law class or an introduction to criminal science or whatever the classes that they can get into. That's showing the colleges, yes, I want to major in law, but not because it's the only major I've ever heard of. I want to major in law because I did criminal justice and this is what really excites me about it. Okay, and then we've got one more here. I wrote the majority of my essay for college enrollment during this quarantine thingy. No, unfortunately, you cannot copy and paste it into the Q&A section. But maybe Alex can read it over and give you some pointers.
I'd love to. Yeah, feel free to email me at alex.mehregan@talentnook.com and I'd be happy to read it over. Or if you'd like professional help from this wonderful woman, you can contact Lessa Scherrer directly at collegeinsidetrack.com. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yes. And she can get you into UC Berkeley and then we can meet each other there. All right, Dallas?
Absolutely. Okay, we've got some other things in the chat here. Would it be helpful if I had to apply for an internship at a highly selective college where you get to do research with current professors? Only 40 people got accepted. Yes, that is wonderful. You should definitely do that. Anything that's selective is going to look great. It's just those pay to play where anybody with $1,200 can do it. That's not very impressive to colleges.
But how do we do it?
You contact professors and see who's doing research that is of interest to you. I can give you more details about that if you contact me at collegeinsidetrack.com.
So I can send you questions. Whose email? Mine. Okay, sure. Let's see here. It's
actually, I'm going to put mine in the chat here.
Okay, I'll put mine as well. That's mine. Feel free to email me if you have any questions on your essay. The Ms. Scherrer is a better writer than me and the college consultant, of course. But yeah. Alrighty, any extra questions here? We got a couple in the Q&A, I see.
Is it worth taking a business or marketing class at community college if I am passionate in the field? I am 15. Yes, it is definitely worth it, because how do you know if you really like marketing unless you take a class or you do some marketing? I think that's a really good idea. For a junior who hasn't done much in terms of activities outside of schoolwork, what would be the best thing to do this summer? Well, Sissy, what do you want to do? And what part of the world do you want to change? That's the question. How are you going to effect that change? Looking for opportunities where you can make the world a better place is a good place to start. Or you could write a novel, or you could read 15 books. There are lots of different ways. There's a whole continuum of things that you could do that would look interesting on an application. Okay, some more in the chat. Oh, no, that's...
Yep, I just...
the emails. Okay.
Yep. Can everyone see the emails okay? Hopefully it's good. All right. So we mentioned a lot about specific things that students can do during this time, but is there anything that every student can do and that will bolster their college application? Any must-dos?
Any must-dos? If I say a must-do, then everyone's going to do it and it's going to be boring, right?
True.
So must-dos, you must keep an eye on your grades. You must try to take an ACT or an SAT over the summer, if you can. I'm still not sure the June ACT is going to happen. You must read some books, stretch your mind. Bringing that perspective to the application is what's going to make you stand out. You know, your own perspective on things. And there's a really good book. The title I have missed, I'm not remembering, but it's by a man named Harry Bald, B-A-U-L-D, and I'm putting it in the chat. He wrote an essay book called On the College Essay. I think it's On the College Essay. So if you're looking for some guidance on essays, can't get in touch with Alex or me, start with that book.
I actually have that book on my shelf.
Do you? It's a
Yeah,
great
I just
book.
realized. It is a great book. I can attest. She knows her stuff.
Yeah.
Also, Lisa, you're typing to all panelists, but make
Oh,
sure you're
sorry.
typing to all panelists and attendees.
Okay.
Okay, so it looks like we have 2 more. Let's see, starting with Sadie Latif.
All right. Sabia, thank you. Will these internships make a difference if we apply at that same college? They might. If you are working for faculty or you're connected with faculty at a selective institution, they typically copy those emails or that connection to the admissions office, so that goes into your file showing interest. And having a letter of recommendation from somebody on the faculty always helps. Should I prep for SAT on my own with some guidance or go to a boot camp? That I can't answer for you. I don't know what your scores typically are. It really depends on the person, whether they need someone sitting there tutoring them, right, Alex? Or if they can do the prep by themselves. I've seen many students plan to sit down with a book and never get around to it. So, but I understand that there's expense that goes along with that, so you have to kind of split the baby there. I see something in the Q&A. Do you have any ideas for summer activities for incoming high school freshmen? The answer is the same, actually. What are they interested in? What do they really want to do? You've got many more summers to try out a lot of things. So freshmen shouldn't limit themselves to, oh, I know for sure I'm going to be a chemistry major. I'm just going to do chemistry over the summer. You'd surely do some chemistry, but also try to do some English, try to read some books, try to get out, and it's harder to do now. But get outside and do some exercise, train for a marathon, you can do lots of things.
I'd like to say something to the boot camp comment question from Ms. Singal. In my experience nowadays, boot camps are getting less and less viable, and the score improvements are less dramatic. And like Lisa said, depending on the student, a private tutor maybe combined with independent study would be your best bet. That's actually what I did for my SAT prep. I independent studied. But having the private tutor there to push and guide you, I think is a great thing. And Talanook is actually doing a program very similar to that structure, where they have a private tutor and the independent study material presented to you at the same time. And of course, if you'd like more information, contact me or go to talanook.com. But yes, that's my comment there.
Yeah, I think it's very useful to have somebody there helping you structure your study. And I should probably full disclosure, I used to teach ACT prep too. So it always goes together, with the college counseling.
Of course.
Okay, let's see. Annabelle asks, what would be some good extracurricular activities for someone looking for an engineering computer science major?
Code Academy is good.
Yeah, Code Academy is good. So learning more programming is fine. I'm trying to think of a hands-on way. Working for Geek Squad is a good place to start. At Best Buy, you guys have Best Buy out there, right?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Volunteering to help technologically with elders, for example, that may not be completely computer literate. That's a really good extracurricular for that too.
One thing I did as an engineering and computer science major was I actually developed an autonomous car when I was a sophomore in high school. And it was a lot easier than it sounds. So just doing something, if you love engineering and computer science, do a project related to it. I loved it. I loved doing the project, and I'm sure it helped me during my college applications. And while I wasn't thinking of college at the time, it ended up being a really great essay to write.
Yeah,
so,
I was gonna say.
Thank you. And it was, Yeah, so just do a special project. I mean, do what you want. But yeah, okay. Looks like we have a couple more questions.
Okay, let's see.
Level 2 autonomous, Christina. Sorry.
Yeah. Let's, did we discuss the situation with COVID? So yeah, having to do a lot of your college research virtually, going to universitytv.com, you're going to see a lot of college tours. Campus Reel is another website that has videos related to individual colleges to do a little bit of research. Hopefully we'll be able to do some testing in the fall. There are many, many colleges that are going test optional for, at least for the class of 2021, some of them longer. Sadia mentioned that too, since many schools aren't requiring the SAT, ACT, my test got canceled in March and now June might get canceled. Is it worth it to keep trying to take it after taking it twice and not getting the scores you wanted? That is probably something you'd have to talk to Alex about, because I don't know what your scores are. It depends on how close they are to your GPA. If there are individual sections you're having trouble with, there's a lot of nuances there that a professional can help you at least determine if you need to keep banging your head against that same brick wall.
So this is what I would think. So the SAT is a way to confirm your GPA, or more so give colleges information about your academic performance. If I had other information in my college applications, like rigorous coursework or a story of high grades, then I'd probably forego the SAT. But if I need to make up for anything in my college application, or I just need more bolstering stuff in my college application, then I would keep trying, but I would try to change something up. So if I've been self-studying for the longest time and I haven't been able to do well, then I might try a tutor, maybe try something different. But yes, so it depends completely on your college application.
I also want to mention that the SAT subject tests and CLEP tests, any other additional testing is not something you need to worry about this year. There is enough confusion with the SAT and the ACT to not have to worry about the rest of that. And no school is requiring the SAT subject tests anymore for admission. MIT was the last holdout and they changed their mind a couple of weeks ago. So I wouldn't worry about that.
That's good. I didn't like the subject tests. You guys are lucky. All right. Yes, that is the link to the program on the Talent website. That's the SAT program I mentioned earlier, where it's a combination of the independent study and the private tutor. But yes, so if we have no further questions, I think we'll wrap it up here. Okay. So give it 20 seconds or so, and then we will end it off. Any last comments, Lisa?
Well, I think that it's really doable to make yourself stand out in this time because it's so unusual. Being proactive, coming to a webinar like this tells me that you are a little bit worried, but also that you're willing to make a change in how you're going about this college process. And that's really enheartening for me. I think that bodes well for your applications. And I will put my email in here one more time, just in case I chatted it to the wrong people.
Cool. All right. I think we're all set here. Thank you all for coming. I hope it was informative. Looks like we got some good feedback. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you very much for coming. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you for inviting me.
And I hope you all have a great rest of your day.